Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I hope you are familiar with that saying, divide et impera, and that's exactly what happens in Serbia at this point. They try to divide them so they can conquer, control them, rule over them. So what's going on over there? They created a situation through, I would say, threats and blackmail that the Serbs would start infighting. So they will start fighting among themselves, not physically or anything like that, but they will be divided. So this article comes from Bloomberg, and its title is Chaos in Serb Assembly as Vučić sticks to EU Kosovo talks. So the European Union came and told the Serbs that they have to make some concessions towards the Kosovo Albanians if they want to continue their bid to be members of the European Union. And if they do not do that, they do not, do actually what the European wants them to do, then they will withhold investment, economic investment, and will basically ruin the country. I'm just exaggerating it, but this is what Vučić told his politicians in Belgrade. Now, the assembly, these are voted by the people, as Vučić was, they say, well, or at least some of them say, well, just a second, what's going on here? So this is from February 2nd, 2023. Serbian parliament devolved into chaos on Thursday as President Aleksandar Vučić urged lawmakers to stay in the European Union fold even as the bloc demands, and I'm quoting, painful concessions on Kosovo. Well, what do you think? Maybe Mr. Vučić knows things that we don't know about him, and definitely he knows things that we don't know. The spectacle of suited legislators scuffling on the floor of the assembly in Belgrade with banners reading, and I'm quoting, no to capitulation and, I'm quoting again, treason, laid bare the resistance the Serbian leader will face as he seeks to make a deal over Kosovo rather than risk the country's bid to join the EU. Well, this is very nicely put by Bloomberg, obviously. Risk the country's bid. Risks a lot of things that the European Union told them. And I'm quoting, according to Vučić as well. I'm quoting, it's in Serbia's vital interest to remain on the European path. And quote, vital interest. It means vital is from vita, is from life. So that means if you don't remain over there, you die. Is that in vital interest? That's the word-by-word translation on vital interest. He told lawmakers in a speech during a debate on the latest push by EU and US mediators. Well, they were your mediators in 1999. Remember how they mediated with you and for you? I don't think they are the mediators here. I think they are the enforcers of an agenda that pushed the creation of an entity in 2008. So, latest pushed by EU and US mediators to secure an agreement with Kosovo, whose secession in 2008 Serbia refuses to recognize, and about half of the world, mind you. Accompanied by loud boos from the opposition benches, Vučić says the European course he's pushing, and I'm quoting, pursuing, and I'm quoting, means investments and living standards for us, for our wages and pensions, end quote. So how do you like integration and how do you guys like globalization when you depend on others to kind of, if they want to strangle you economically, they can do it. You're not independent anymore. Accompanied by loud boos from the opposition benches, Vučić says the European course he's pursuing means investment and living standards for us, for our wages and pensions. So this means threats, and not threats, scaring people. Oh, you're not going to have pensions, you're not going to have wages, which could be. But then don't give me the compassionate West by doing that. So anyway, yeah, deal with that entity over there, with that country, with that, however we want to call Kosovo. Deal with that the way we want you to deal with, and then we're going to do business with you. Otherwise, we're not going to do business with you because we want you to do what we want you to do between you and your, how should I put it, mildly, former territory. But the prospect of reaching a political settlement with the government in Pristina was too much for lawmakers who reject any compromise over Kosovo's unilateral declaration of independence. Vucic's coalition controls more than 160 in the 250-seat parliament. Well, it doesn't mean that the coalition is a monolithic coalition. Might be, I don't know, out of 160, might be 159 that disagree with Vucic. All right? We don't know that. They tell us like, oh, those guys are a monolithic Serbian army within the parliament. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, I mean, unless they're weasels like here where I live, yeah. And they go by party vote, then no more national conscience or anything like that. Gone. All your history, gone. Good job. Destroy that for European Union wishes. That's why you should be an independent, sovereign country. Don't depend on others. As much as you can. Tensions between Kosovo's Serbian minority and ethnic Albanians have soared in recent weeks after years of EU brokered talks have made little progress. Yeah, because EU gets involved in things that it's not their business to get into. That's something that had to do between Albanians and Serbs. And you say, yeah, well, you remember when the Serbs were killing the Albanians? Well, again, things were more sophisticated than that, okay? It's not as they try to portray here in Ukraine, good versus evil, 100%. There are certain things that are not really falling in only those two categories. Russia's attack on Ukraine has added urgency to the US and EU effort to defuse the Balkan tensions. Vucic said on an outright refusal to cooperate would make Serbia a pariah. Cooperate means do what they want you to do. And they're gonna, it's a blackmail. You do this or you're gonna become a pariah. He is seeking a public debate on a proposal that's reported to call on Serbia and Kosovo to normalize their relations, though falls short of requiring Serbia to officially recognize Kosovo's sovereignty. Well, that's the first step. We all know that. And then the next step is going to be in 20 years when it's going to be that one. Both sides must mend ties to qualify for EU membership. Well, how about then, certain kind of, how should I put it, man? The situation created over there, you ask Serbia to say, yeah, Kosovo is an independent country. I mean, it's... I can give you many examples in the world, in history, where now you cannot ask certain kind of nation to say, okay, now that belongs to that or not belongs to me anymore. In his speech, the Serbian president reiterated that Belgrade would never recognize Kosovo. Yeah, that's, you just say it now and then you're going to say, well, things change because next one is going to be in 20 years when you're not going to be around, probably, even though you're kind of not that old, let's put it this way, and another guy is going to take the torch and we're going to do it. And you say, well, under the current circumstances, this is what we have to do. Otherwise, I don't know, remember pensions and wages? Then it's going to be something else. Vital interest, you remember that one? Oh, okay, so Belgrade will never recognize Kosovo or agree to its membership in the United Nations. It's one of the most painful demands presented by Western envoys, he said. Well, painful, you can withstand it. So pain is pain. Once you get used to the level of pain, you can stay forever like that. If you've been around the block a few times, you realize that when pain gets to the maximum, it can't go beyond that maximum. So if you can withstand that maximum for 3 seconds, what prevents you to withstand it for 5 seconds and 8 seconds and 20 seconds? Well, that's a principle of continuing under pressure. It's, oh my God, I got hurt. Ow. Okay, it's a pain. You get used to that and it's going to be painful, but it's not like, oh my God, I can't stay 5 minutes with this pain. Yes, you can. What are you going to do? Die? Okay, that's a different state then. but it's not pain anymore. Pain is there, a maximum. Anyway, in Kosovo, Prime Minister Albin Kurti reinforced his position that Serbia recognize his nation's sovereignty before he considers any proposal offering autonomy to local Serbs. This is a tricky sentence. So this Albanian prime minister of a region that was taken from another country, which was Serbia, he now tells that if he wants to give the local Serbs in the country that was taken from Serbia, they have to negotiate with him. Instead of the Serbs saying, hey, we give you autonomy or not, you give the Serbs autonomy in Kosovo. That means that maybe tomorrow, let's say in New Mexico or let's say California, or I don't know, some of those states in the southwest of the United States, if you have, let's say, some group that is majority, has a majority, you know, it's a population, can tell the other ones, oh, we decide here to have this little country here, and we're gonna probably give you some autonomy to the rest. Really? Is that how it works? No, because you know why, right? Kosovo split off almost a decade after a war in which NATO intervened against Serbia's campaign against ethnic Albanians, forcing Belgrade's forces out of the territory it once controlled. You see how weasel the whole thing is here? So NATO intervened. Nothing about how, why, legally, illegally, bombarded, NATO, the defensive alliance, they didn't have the mandate of the United Nations. Okay, against ethnic, Serbia's campaign against ethnic Albanians. What happens? Who wanted to break out of whom? Serbia out of ethnic Albanians, or ethnic Albanians wanted to break away from the Serbs? Do you remember that one? Because I really don't remember it. And then who helped the Albanians? Who supported them? Not only politically, forcing Belgrade's forces out of the territory. Whose territory? It once controlled. It was part of their country. It was not like a territory that they just invaded. You know what I mean? So it's something happens here in the United States with certain kind of group and says, well, we want to be independent of this region. What are these guys going to do, you think? If they're idiots, they're going to say, well, that's good, the right of self-determination. You know, we're going to use that one like it was used in Crimea, or it was used in Donbass, right? Luhansk, Donetsk, right? No, those guys can't do the same thing these guys do because it's different. Yeah, it is different, yes. So anyway, my Serbs, you are in deep trouble, and you have, I think, one big chance, and the big chance I would claim is if Russia doesn't collapse. Forms the second club with China, India, Brazil, South Africa, Iran, Algeria, many other countries that are ready, and South America, a lot of them too, and Central America, and then you can join that club in resisting economically, surviving economically as you survive. So it seems like you have a choice between personal values, national pride and conscience, or having a good life. It's like you are a slave, but you eat well. Or you don't eat that well, but you're a free person. I would pick the later option, not the former. So I would pick to be a free person, but eat less and have a harsher life than being a fat, supposedly eating better, but worked out and at someone else's command all the time. Well, I think it's based on preferences. So it's up to whomever, however you are, and you would pick one of these camps. Do you think it's another camp too? What camp? It's very clear over there. If they say no to European Union, they want to strengthen them economically. But at least they will keep their pride and independence to a certain degree. If they are going to join the European Union, part of your independence and sovereignty will be taken because you join a club, you join a little organization, and you always do that. And see what Hungary or Poland, what happened to them when they told Brussels, where these guys want to enter in Brussels, right? Or in European Union led by Brussels, right? See how they treated Hungary and Poland and other countries when they say, well, maybe we don't implement these values in our nation's, traditions and culture. What happened? Again, blackmail. You'll be always threatened and blackmailed with money. We're not going to give you money, we're not going to give you money, we're not going to give you money. The same thing here. Do you want to associate yourself with someone like this? You think as a human being, you having a friend like that, and you get, or not a friend, let's say you get in a communion, right, with your, wife, girlfriend, whatever, right? And it's all imposed and it's all based on blackmail. You can't really do anything. She or he tells you what to do, otherwise she's just gonna let you for dead. It's a big world out there, honey. You know what I mean? So the same here. But what can you do? You got all this news and entertainment industry that pumps information and every day does what it does best, forms opinion. So they're waiting for a few more generations in Serbia, and maybe they will create a pussified society with no national, conscious, just venerating nothing, only pleasure and laziness and narcissistic behavior. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.